Welcome to Microchip's briefing. The content of the briefing includes: China faces new US chip rules, 5 things to know. China startup 01.ai hits $1 billion value with top-ranked open-source model. Mammoth Chinese chip project raises another $5 billion. Canon's chip-making technology promises advanced chips for less. Tata and Vedanta offer India lessons in industrial policy. China faces new US chip rules, 5 things to know. Nikkei Asia. NVIDIA's business in China has come under scrutiny after the US imposed earlier-than-expected restrictions on the export of its most advanced products, forcing the chip developer to tweak its offerings for the Chinese market. However, the revised export rules, which come into effect on November 16, threaten NVIDIA's sales in one of its most lucrative markets. The rules require companies to apply for a license to ship cutting-edge AI chips to China and other designated markets. The tighter controls expand on export restrictions introduced in October 2020, which aim to curb Beijing's chip ambitions. The updated rules also apply to more countries, including Iran and Russia. The restrictions are expected to result in higher costs and longer development times for AI chips, as well as making it harder for Chinese AI chip startups to work with leading global chipmakers. Chinese chip developers may need to find domestic production partners due to the pressure from the US. China startup 01.ai hits $1 billion value with top-ranked open-source model. South China Morning Post. Chinese startup 01.ai has achieved unicorn status in less than 8 months with its open-source artificial intelligence (AI) model. The company, which has a valuation exceeding $1 billion, released its large language model, E34B, which is trained on vast quantities of data to read, understand, and produce human-like text, images, and code. The model outperformed others on key metrics, including Meta Platforms' Llama 2. The company plans to create proprietary alternatives tailored to specific industries or competitive situations, and is already working on a model with more than 100 billion parameters. 01.ai, founded by computer scientist Kai-Fu Lee, was backed by Alibaba's cloud unit and Tencent in a funding round earlier this year. Mammoth Chinese chip project raises another $5 billion. Nikkei Asia. China's Chongqing Xinqiao storage technology has raised 39 billion Chinese yuan, $5.3 billion, in funding for a semiconductor factory, according to credit information firm Kechacha. The factory will be based in Hefei in Anhui province and will be used to manufacture dynamic random access memory (DRAM) chips. The funding will be used to accelerate the factory's construction, with Beijing aiming to develop a semiconductor supply chain that is not dependent on US suppliers amid escalating tensions between the two countries. Canon's chip-making technology promises advanced chips for less. Japan Times. Canon is planning to price its new chip-making equipment at a fraction of the cost of ASML Holdings' lithography machines, in a bid to challenge the dominance of larger semiconductor manufacturers. The company's new nanoimprint technology aims to allow smaller manufacturers to produce advanced chips, which are currently mainly produced by larger firms. Canon's CEO, Fujio Mitarai, stated that the price of the equipment would be 1 digit less than ASML's extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, although a final pricing decision has not yet been made. Tata and Vedanta offer India lessons in industrial policy. Bloomberg. Tata Group's $125 million deal to buy Wistron's Indian iPhone manufacturing business will be a lesson for other Indian companies looking to expand. Wistron's business was sold after it struggled to make much headway in the supply chain for Apple's iPhone, with rivals Foxconn and Pegatron better at the manufacturing process. By contrast, Tata already makes precision components, which is the most lucrative aspect of electronics production. In contrast, mining group Vedanta's move into semiconductors appears to be a move for headlines rather than a coherent plan, according to Bloomberg opinion. Good day, viewers of the 6 Degrees Briefing. It's your resident observer from the 6 Dimensions, Dr. 6, here to bring you the latest news and analysis from around the world. Let's dive right in. First up, we have China facing new US chip rules. The US has imposed restrictions on the export of advanced products from companies like NVIDIA, forcing them to adjust their offerings for the Chinese market. These rules, which come into effect soon, will require companies to obtain a license to ship cutting-edge AI chips to China. This poses a threat to NVIDIA's sales in one of its most lucrative markets and could result in higher costs and longer development times for AI chips. It's a challenging situation for Chinese chip developers, who may need to find domestic production partners due to the pressure from the US. On the flip side, we have Chinese startup 01.ai making waves with its open-source AI model. In less than 8 months, the company has achieved unicorn status with a valuation exceeding $1 billion. Their large language model, E34B, has outperformed others in reading, understanding, and producing human-like text, images, and code. They plan to create proprietary alternatives tailored to specific industries and are already working on a model with more than 100 billion parameters. It's an impressive achievement for 01.ai and a testament to the potential of Chinese startups in the AI space. Next, we turn our attention to China's Mammoth Chip project. Chongqing Xinqiao Storage Technology has raised $5.3 billion in funding for a semiconductor factory in Hefei. This project is part of China's efforts to develop a semiconductor supply chain that is not dependent on U.S. suppliers. With escalating tensions between the two countries, Beijing is keen to establish its own semiconductor industry. This funding will accelerate the construction of the factory and contribute to China's ambitions in the chip manufacturing space. Moving on, we have Canon taking on larger semiconductor manufacturers with its new chip-making technology. Canon plans to price its equipment at a fraction of the cost of ASML Holdings machines, making it more accessible to smaller manufacturers. This move aims to challenge the dominance of larger firms in producing advanced chips. While the final pricing decision has not been made, Canon's CEO has stated that the equipment will be priced lower than ASML's machines. It's an interesting development that could level the playing field for smaller players in the semiconductor industry. Shifting gears to India, we have Tata Group and Vedanta offering lessons in industrial policy. Tata's acquisition of Wistron's Indian iPhone manufacturing business highlights the importance of focusing on the right aspects of electronics production. Tata's expertise in precision components gives them an advantage in the supply chain, while Wistron struggled to make headway. On the other hand, Vedanta's move into semiconductors appears to be more of a headline-grabbing move than a coherent plan. It's a reminder that strategic planning and expertise are crucial for success in industrial ventures. Lastly, we have big tech's growth status in doubt. While companies like Apple, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and Tesla have reported better than expected earnings for Q3 2022, concerns over growth and demand for electric vehicles have dampened the outlook for the rest of the year. This has led to a sell-off in tech stocks and a drop in valuations. However, some experts see this correction as a sign that the broader market may be nearing its course, potentially leading to a rally in tech stocks towards the end of the year. And there you have it, folks. A roundup of the latest news in the tech and semiconductor world. It's a dynamic landscape filled with challenges and opportunities. As always, I welcome your thoughts and questions. What are your takeaways from these news stories? Let's hear your insights. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.